Hello. Now, in this session we are going to talk about tracking. See, basically in our previous session, you saw how we were able to move our 3D model from one position to another position. How we were moving it? By changing our camera position. So, we were making changes to our camera position, virtual camera, that is the camera that we have used in our 3Js, and we were moving the model. Now, when it comes to augmented reality, actually what should happen is your webcam or your mobile camera, as it moves, as the user moves his mobile camera, actually the position has to be tracked and that position has to be updated and applied to your model. So, for this, how are we going to do this? For this, how are we going to track the camera? What is the system? Say for example, if you have worked with After Effects to track an object, we use softwares like Mocha Pro. Now After Effects has built-in tracking. So there is a tracking engine. And similarly, here for augmented reality, we use something called as the augmented reality engine. What this augmented reality engine is going to do is, it is actually going to track the position and the rotation and the movement of your camera, and it is going to take that value and attach it to your model. Now coming to augmented reality, now what are the different types of augmented reality? If someone asks you, normally it is said that augmented reality means you have markerless, you have marker based, you have image tracking. So it's a very much confusing terminology, but to make it very simple, see, if you take tracking, the very first kind of tracking is whenever you want some augmented object to appear on the screen, the camera is fed with a data. We feed it with a data, and that data contains the information about some component. Say for example, in case of image tracking, what happens is your camera, first we will take the image, we will scan the image and we will convert that image data into a trackable information or a code, and we are going to add it to our AR engine. Now what happens is, when your camera is moved and as soon as the camera sees that image, the code generated from your camera from that image matches with the code of your AR engine, and when they matches, suddenly your augmented reality object like your cube or any model is going to appear, and this we call it as image tracking. And when we track this image, the images are of two types. One is what we call as the barcode tracking. Barcode means it might be a QR code, it might be a barcode or some symbol or logo. As soon as you hold it on that, you are going to see the image. And the other time is the natural image. Say for example, you hold your camera in front of your photograph, and as soon as I hold it, your model appears. So this kind of thing we call it as the image tracking. And the another type of tracking is called as planar tracking. Means in this case, we are not going to use any images. What we are going to do is, we are just going to take our camera and we are going to move it, and the camera is going to give the information to the AR engine, and the AR engine is going to identify all the planes that the camera is seeing. Say for example, the ground, the wall, and what it does is, as soon as it identifies a plane, it is going to put a marker, and when you actually click or add a model, now what happens is that model will sit on that ground, and as you move the camera, you can that model appears as though in real it is sitting there. And this kind of scanning or this kind of augmented reality, we call it as planar tracking. First is the image tracking, where you have the information of an image or a QR code, and the second we call it as the planar tracking, where you are going to track it based on the planes. And now, apart from this image and planar, we have something called as the face tracking. This is the third segment. Face tracking means you have already built that application. In Spark AR Studio, you have built a blinking game where when the user blinks, something is going to happen. When you wave your hand, something is going to happen. And or the gestures or your face, when you say, for example, I can create a specs or cooling glass or a hat, a virtual hat in 3D, and I can place it on my head, and so that as I move my head, that is going to move, and this we call it as the face tracking. The fourth one that we discuss about is gestures. Gestures means you are going to say, for example, lift your hand. You are going to do some action. You are going to clap. When you clap, that clap is recognized from the camera and some event or something is going to happen. This is the fourth type of tracking. And the last one we call it as the location based tracking. And location based tracking means in this tracking, what happens is your mobile GPS is attached to the AR engine. So when you program it, you give your model a longitude and latitude value, and so that as soon as you reach that particular point, that particular GPS, immediately the model is going to appear. And the best example for this location based augmented reality is the Pokemon game, which became very popular. And this Pokemon game is nothing but location tracking. So we have these 5 types of tracking system. So now to explain you, we call this a pseudocode. Pseudocode, I am going to just give you an example of how we are going to track and actually run this augmented reality engine is. Okay, so after this document and other thing, I will inside this bracket, what I will do is I am going to declare first a constant which is an AR, and this will be equal to some new some AR engine. Okay, this can, there are many types of engine, and this some AR engine has to be first imported. At the top, I have to import some AR engine, and this from where I am going to import from where, or I am going to add import star as some AR engine, and here will be the path of my library. Okay, so as of now we have not added it, so we are going to add this path here, and this some AR engine will be equal to a new. So we are going to instantiate this using this const AR, and then the very next thing is we are going to declare 2 variables. The variables that we are going to declare are, and this is an object, so I will add it inside open and close bracket, and we are going to declare one is the position variable and another is the rotation variable. And this position and rotation variable, this will be equal to AR, and in this AR you will have a function called compute camera pose, and I am going to type compute camera pose, and from where it is going to compute it? It is from the video. Okay, from the video, whatever video we are streaming here at the top, that video camera position is computed by this AR engine, and after it computes this, we are then going to take our camera that we are using in the scene, the camera that we have set the position here. We are going to take camera position, we are going to make it equal to this constant position, and we are going to set camera rotation equal to this rotation, and we will end it with a semicolon. So, both we will end it with a semicolon. So, now what is happening is, see, this AR engine is going to compute your camera pose, and it is going to and this should not run just once. We want this to run every frame, and for that what we are going to now do is, we are going to loop this. How are we going to loop? I am going to add a loop function. Say I am going to use while, and these codes will get executed when a particular condition is true. That is, when the video is true. This condition can be video is true. We have used it here. See, get user media, this condition video true. So, when this video is true, I can use this condition. When the video is coming from the camera, at that time, what we are going to do, I will add one flower bracket here, and this entire code, whatever you are seeing, I will enclose it within this flower bracket. So, all these commands will be executed as soon as the video is true, and this, it should not run randomly, it should run for every frame. So, I will add another function here called to wait. So, for this code to run, you have to wait for the next video frame ready. So, it has to wait till the next video frame is ready. It wait till the next video frame is ready, and as soon as the video frame is ready, you are going to set the position variable equal to your camera position or the computed camera position, rotation to the rotation, and this code what you are seeing, we call this as a pseudo code. As of now, if I run it, this is not going to run because some AR engine doesn't exist at all. So, no computation happens. This I am showing it to you so that you can understand how this code is going to work. So, now I will select this entire block and I am going to delete it. This I doesn't need it. Then I will go to file and I will, what we now need is, I need one library. I need an augmented reality engine. So, this augmented reality, there are various augmented reality engines. Google has ARCore, Apple has ARKit. There is another company called Vuforia, and today we are going to use another kind of augmented reality engine which we call as MindAR. This is an open source engine which works on the web. So, we have different types of engine, and in our next session we will actually start doing this tracking, and we will be building all kind of tracking application. One is image tracking, then another is planar tracking, then we are going to do face tracking, gestures, and for gestures we are going to use AI, and finally we are also going to discuss about location tracking. So, we are going to cover all these 5 in 5 different projects.